Throughout human history, there have been billions of people, all very similar but with unique characteristics in their own ways. However, there will always be individuals who stand out significantly from the rest due to specific qualities that are not present in all humans. It's quite unusual to encounter someone with these differences. That's why today, I want to discuss more about unique characteristics in the world. So stay with me in this video, because you might be one of those special individuals, but you'll only find out by the end. There is a small number of people who have a peculiar and tiny hole at the top of their ear, known as a preauricular sinus. You probably haven't encountered many people with this feature, as it occurs in less than 10% of the population. But what's the reason for its presence? And does it serve any purpose? It's a genetic malformation, specifically when there's an incomplete fusion of the branchial arches during fetal development. Alternatively, it can result from an abnormal connection between the skin and the tissue beneath it. It's most likely an evolutionary defect, meaning that this part of the ear evolved in humans in such a way that it doesn't fully develop in some individuals, resulting in this tiny hole. It doesn't serve any particular function and is merely a small hole without any special significance. It doesn't present any disadvantages or dangers for those who have it, but it should be kept clean to prevent infection. In the rare event of infection, the solution is as simple as visiting a specialist and taking antibiotics. Allow me to introduce Matthias Schlitt, a German man whose right arm is remarkably larger and more developed than his left. No, it's not because he worked out one arm more than the other. He was born with a genetic deformity that caused his right arm to grow excessively in comparison to the rest of his body. However, for him, this was more of a blessing than an ailment, as he decided to enter the world of arm wrestling tournaments, where his arm provides him with an incredible advantage over his opponents. His arm is not only large but also exceptionally strong, allowing him to become an international arm wrestling champion on over 20 occasions and the national champion of Germany for 10 consecutive years. His right arm is so powerful that he has lost only 3 arm wrestling matches in his entire career, which, as you can see, is quite remarkable. What you see on the screen is known as the fimbriated fold of the tongue, or plica fimbriata, a slight fold of the mucous membrane on the underside of the tongue that runs laterally on both sides of the frenulum. It might surprise you to know that all human beings have had this fold at some point in their lives. Normally, the body absorbs and eliminates it during the tongue's development. But as you can see, this doesn't always happen. Each case of fimbriated folds is unique, so no two are exactly alike due to the complexity of their structure. Some people have small triangular flaps, horn-shaped, underneath their tongues, typically appearing in pairs, but sometimes as many as 4 or more sets. Even for those who have them, only the 2 closest to the tip are clearly visible, while the others are very small and nearly imperceptible. It's essential to note that this condition doesn't cause any problems. It's simply a sign that the tongue didn't develop fully, but beyond that, it functions just as well as any other. Normally, our heart is located on the left side of the chest, but there are people who have it on the right side, and this is due to a rare condition known as dextrocardia. It's a genetic alteration that occurs during pregnancy and is typically associated with a condition called situs inversus, where all of a person's organs are on the opposite side from where they should be. It's as if the entire interior of the body is forming a mirrored image of how it should appear under normal circumstances. Sometimes, it doesn't present significant complications, and individuals can lead their lives without even realizing it. However, in some cases, it can lead to serious heart problems, lifelong breathing difficulties, intestinal issues, and malfunctions of the gallbladder. Unfortunately, there is no cure or surgery to correct this condition. It can only be managed with some treatments and minor surgeries to address certain issues. Did you know that there are people who lack a collarbone? Yes, it's due to a rare genetic condition known as cleidocranial dysostosis, occurring in 1 out of a million people. It affects the development of bones and teeth, and can vary significantly from one case to another. In some cases, it is barely noticeable, while in others, it's very noticeable in the jaw and forehead. Even baby teeth often fall out at very advanced ages, and permanent teeth can grow late and very crooked, requiring orthodontic treatment to correct them. As for the collarbones, they can be underdeveloped or absent altogether, allowing the shoulders to be brought together. In some cases, it doesn't pose any difficulties in the person's daily life, but for others, it can be life-threatening. One of the most recognized individuals with this condition is Gaten Matarazzo, one of the stars of the Netflix series Stranger Things, and he considers himself fortunate that his case is very mild. Heterochromia is an extremely rare condition in which a person's irises have different colors. The irises may have completely different hues, or it may involve only a section of one iris having a different color. which is known as sectoral or partial heterochromia. It is caused when an individual has too much or too little melanin in one of their eyes, resulting in different pigmentation. Several factors can lead to this condition, with heredity being the most common cause. In such cases, it is primarily an aesthetic effect and doesn't cause any complications for the person's vision. It certainly makes their eyes look unique, don't you think? It can also result from an external factor affecting the eye, such as injury, glaucoma, invasive medications, or the presence of a foreign object. Brachydactyly syndrome, or long thumb, is an extremely rare genetic malformation that causes the thumb to be excessively long compared to the other fingers. It is typically caused by a mutation in a specific gene and does not pose any general health or hand-related problems for those who have it. One of the most well-known cases is that of Jacob Pena, a young American who went viral on social media for showing just how long his thumb is, measuring 13 centimeters. Having a long thumb has its advantages, allowing him to be a great video game player, and he has never lost a thumb wrestling match, which is quite understandable. However, he can't wear any gloves, as they exert a lot of pressure on that finger. The only alternative is to get custom-made gloves, which he hasn't needed so far. It's important to note that this condition is not hereditary, as no one in his family has a thumb as long as his, so it was simply a stroke of luck. Have you ever seen a video on the internet where a person appears to shoot a stream of saliva from the bottom of their tongue? Most likely, yes. This is known as glicking, and it's not a camera trick or video editing. It's entirely real, and very few people in the world can do it. This unique skill involves the control of the submandibular salivary gland to eject a stream of saliva from beneath the tongue. Usually, this gland secretes saliva reflexively, but those who can glick can activate it by raising their tongue and pushing the jaw forward. As you can see, it can look a bit gross. This practice went viral on TikTok, with many people successfully demonstrating it and many others attempting but failing. Some dentists have even explained this phenomenon, clarifying that only a small percentage of individuals can control the salivary gland in this manner. Fortunately, forcing it doesn't have any consequences, but I would recommend not attempting it, especially in front of other people. Polydactyly is a rare condition that causes a person to have more than 5 fingers on their hands, feet, or both. It may appear in one hand, one foot, or all 4 limbs simultaneously, depending on the severity of the condition. It is typically a congenital malformation, meaning it occurs during pregnancy due to genetic causes. These additional fingers can be underdeveloped, barely attached to the skin, and are most commonly found near the pinky finger. As they serve no function, they are removed shortly after the person's birth. They are either tied off with a thread until they fall off or removed through a quick surgical procedure if they contain bones. However, there are cases where these additional fingers are well developed, complete with muscles and bones, and can be moved like any other finger. Golden blood is an extremely rare blood type, so rare that only 1% of the total population has it flowing through their veins. It is characterized by the absence of the Rh antigen, which is present in all other blood types such as A, B, AB, or O. This results in people with this blood type having abnormal red blood cells with leaky membranes and shorter lifespans. However, it doesn't significantly affect their daily lives. They can lead their lives just like anyone else, but they have advantages and disadvantages when it comes to donating or receiving blood. Since they lack Rh antigens, they are universal donors. They can donate their blood to virtually anyone in the world, regardless of their blood type. So they are always encouraged to become donors. On the flip side, they can't receive blood transfusions unless it comes from another person with golden blood, which is incredibly rare, if not impossible, to find a donor with this blood type. That's why their only assurance is to donate regularly in case they need their own blood in the future. That concludes today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to share it with your friends and follow us to learn new curiosities every week. This is Hallucinated, and we'll see you in the next video.